What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. It is patch day here, and this patch was medium. There were some big changes to lines, things like Kali and Belveth getting buffed up to make 2-cost reroll a little bit stronger. Things like, they don't actually have it on here for whatever reason, but things like Vex getting buffed up as well to try to make Fast 9 a little bit better. Some augment changes. Things like Space Groove getting nerfed down, of course, because this line was a little crazy here. Some big adjustments to Meeple, so a lot of changes out here, but the big one that we are going to talk about today is to an augment to this Nasus hero augment, Bonk. So if you go down here and look at this, this is the big change here. Nasus spell damage for Bonk increased pretty small at 1 and 2 star, but a pretty huge increase at 3 star. 670 to 730 there, almost a 10% increase in his spell damage at 3 star. This is the board that you usually play with Nasus hero augment here. Just a 6 Vanguard setup. Obviously Blitzcrank great later, get in your 3 Space Groove, and you know, LeBlanc fits nicely for Arbiter, but you know, some kind of Shepherd on this board. Usually this can become Sona later down the line, and you play for Nasus and you have a really good time. How do you itemize this guy if you're playing this? Well, it's basically always BT Titans. These items tend to be really, really good on this guy. And then Gwynsu really good in the early game to stack him up, but you can actually replace this with a Stair Axe later. So it's kind of like early game slam the Gwynsus, and then late game make the Stair Axe here. So that's what we're going to be looking at this game. We are going to be watching Zaza here. Very strong European player, has been to the final lobby of the Vegas Open, which I will always remember because I was in the first lobby in the Vegas Open with him, and he absolutely farmed me. So rest in peace, me, but it's okay. I'll have my revenge at the next Vegas Open later this year. Speaking of revenge, okay, not in a horrible segue, I did want to shout out something else, which is this new channel that Kai and I created called Teamfight Takes. The idea is that these are quick little podcasts that it's like a 1-minute podcast where we talk about a topic in TFT. So this is, you know, talking about the topic of Space Groove and if this comp is overrated, underrated. I give my opinion, Kai gives his opinion, and we just do a quick little kind of like mini podcast talking about the line and some of the specifics of it. So go check it out. We are, you know, just getting the channel off the ground. We only have a couple of videos out right now, but we're gonna be trying to releasing these almost daily. Right now we're looking at daily. This is the last couple of days, and honestly, as long as Kai can edit the videos, because he's the one editing it, we're a 2-man show right now. We got no editor, no nothing. It's just we record them together, Kai edits them, puts them out. So go check it out, go support me and Kai, and yeah, you can subscribe. I'll have the link down below. Teamfight Takes. We're also on this is YouTube. We're also on TikTok and Twitter, so I'll have all the links down below. So go check it out. Just a nice little way to, you know, if you want to get like a little bit of a fix on your TFT content, want a little bit of information or really just discussion, you know, we're gonna have a decent amount of them. We have one probably that's coming out today, actually, that's more of just kind of like talking about the set in general and our opinion on it, and we're on pretty different sides of the spectrum when it comes to that, so definitely an interesting one. So it'll be it'll certainly be a lot of fun getting these out. And also we are at some point, I think once we are kind of like done with you know, these little bits, we do record kind of like a longer session, like a 15 or 20-minute session that will be released as well. So if you do want just a little podcast of me and Kai yapping about TFT, that's another thing that you can just watch it for. So Zaza here does take the Bonk here. One of the reasons why we are taking this Bonk here is because we are in the rerolls portal. So we're going to roll down and look for ideally Nasus 2. We don't find it. We do find as a Zoe that we can get an every 3 autos proc a Leona to hopefully accelerate us quickly to Leona 3. What I will say is, along with the nerfs to everything else in this patch, this did get nerfed as well here. Also, Zaza, I think, going to check the stats here for Nasus hero augment. And if you do check check the stats, which I did before this, you'll see that this got a little bit better. Not, insanely good. In Gwynsu's Rage Blade, certainly you can see the stats don't look good because this doesn't want to sit on Nasus the entire game. You want to throw this onto Nasus and eventually move it over to the Teemo here. But you can see once you reach up to 6 Vanguard, the stats start to look pretty decent. And once you get some other good items onto Nasus, it looks pretty good. And it's also, this is just a scaling augment in general, so the stats might look a little bit weaker on it, but still, definitely a lot better. This was last patch the worst hero augment, and after this, I mean, let's watch how Zaza's game goes, because this is like a pretty decent start for it. Only thing that we're kind of missing is like a Varus portal to give us like extra dupes, something like that can really, accelerate us to Nasus 3 quickly, because we are just kind of stuck on these Nasuses right now, only 3. So it is going to be a while before we can hit the Nasus 3-star, but yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Blessing plus Prosperity, by the way, I do think should be pretty good in a spot like this, but he's just going to take the Blood Pact, and I mean, you probably should take the Chain Vest here. Yeah, okay. The Glove on Leona is tempting, but we'll reach it to Leona 3. Okay. So, yeah, I guess, as I was saying, the most important thing in our spot here is being able to reach the actual Nasus 3, which is what picking this Blood Pact up will allow us to do. I mean, I do love the Blood Pact in general. And check this out. He's going to actually slam Sunfire here, just as a good slam here. Even though this does, get rid of our potential, like, Titans component down the line, which is a pretty good item onto this Nasus guy. It makes a lot of sense to just get some item slams and to try to win streak here. Because this Nasus hero augment, it's all about winning. It's all about stacking up early. Kind of similar to Joseph Gath that you can play around this set. You really just want to win a lot of fights early so that he can be getting those bonks, so that he can be stacking up, and he's also a snowballing carry. If you get more kills earlier, then that means that you're going to have more AD, which is going to be more likely for you to get more kills later. So just need to play around the scaling aspect of this hero augment as well. Only downside to that is we are rotating into a pretty strong level 5 board. Nasus is a beast, but is he enough of a beast? It's actually really, really close. Can we get a bonk? We do get a bonk. Oh, no, it's so close. It's actually such a tough fight to lose. It's not the end of the world. It's not like we had a huge streak to play for, but it's also just feels bad. You would like to keep your streak if you could. Also, check out what Zaza's holding on here. So obviously he's only Teemos. We showed that in the earlier board with the 6 Vanguard setup. Makes a lot of sense. He's also holding on to Lissandra's, just saying this could be a Shepherd that we are going to play towards. Gets the full Hodge drop, which is interesting. You could make this onto Nasus and play for this as just a solid healing item onto him. I would be somewhat interested in waiting to see our augment here, but we will see what Zaza wants to do here. Does roll down and pick up the Leona 3, so that's going to be his cue to stop here on level 4, and then we can roll the rest on level 5 when we have some more gold. We don't have to send it to 0 here. And he does opt to just slam the Hodge here, saying items is items, make a good item onto Nasus here. We could even maybe look at getting spell crit down the line from something like a Jeweled Lotus. That wouldn't be not bad. And we do check in our Nasus stacks here. What did we hit here? 124. Not bad, honestly. Not like crazy good for coming out of stage 2, but not bad. And stage 3 is when this really tends to accelerate. If you're in a good spot here, you can get to 400, 500 by the end of stage 3 if you have a good stage 3. Misconnection seems just too tempting to pass up here. Honestly, gives you the Teemo, gives you the Nasus. I mean, it's just so much gold effective. There is a Misconnections kind of like planner out there where you can see where all the different units are, because ideally you do not want to pick up Nasus here. You want to leave it in the orb, but looks like he's just going to pick up everything, and yeah, it's going to be fine. Technically, like I'm talking about, if you leave it in the orb, this means that you are not going to take that unit out of the pool, and I believe he does do it correctly for Teemo here. That's the Teemo that is left in that orb there, unless he did already pick it up. I don't think he did, and I mean, there wouldn't be a reason to leave that orb sitting there regardless. So we do have the Teemo orb sitting at least, so that's something. But yeah, if you leave the units out into missed connections, then they will not come out of the pool, and so it's easier for you to 3-star the Nasus and then kind of like take the last copy of the pool, and then he just takes Teemo out of the pool anyway. Okay, well, whatever. Not a huge deal, really good or really bad either way, but yeah, you do. It's a small optimization what he did there, just to wait on the Teemo, and ideally you would wait until it's your last Teemo. Rotate into a Samira board. I have slightly bad news for any of the Samira haters out there who, think this comp is no fun to play around or against. The changes look like, ooh, and High Key Steamroll makes perfect sense here. Yeah, I think this is a great pickup for us, and then we can take the sword for a lot of good items. But yeah, the changes to Samira look like they haven't really put a dent in the comp at all. The line still looks really, really, really solid statistically. This is also going to be the cue for Zaza here to send it down to 0 gold here to look for everything. The idea being, if we can hit a Nasus 3, and we do, this is going to be an insane amount of gold with Steamroll. Wow, that was a really, really committal roll down, but it makes sense when you take something like Steamroll here. If we can continue to proc Steamroll every single round, I mean, this is a prismatic econ augment. If you can proc this every single round, 4 gold per round, I mean, it's just, there is nothing that is even in this realm. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And now that we have the Nasus 3, the Teemo 3, I do think we have really, really good odds of keeping our streak here. So I think this is a great idea from Zaza here, just to commit insanely hard in this moment to the win streak. But like, who can beat us now with this Nasus 3 here? I think this was honestly the perfect god boon that we could get in this spot here, because I mean, look at our board now. It's a pretty strong board that we're fighting, but Nasus is bonking 7,000 damage for him. And yeah, I mean, we are going to keep up our steamroll, which is just everything that you could ever want in this spot here. And now we can just start looking at pushing levels from here. We also did obviously find the Teemo 3 on the way down there, so that's a nice guy to play around. Once again, he's probably going to be the receiver of the Squincy's Rage Blade down the line. We will see though where we want these items to go. I guess we do get another which is probably going to have to get made onto the Teemo here with the BT onto the Nasus here. It's double healing, but honestly, you don't even feel that bad about something like double healing onto this Nasus here, because he is doing a ton of damage. He's a melee carry. He's going to be taking a lot of damage throughout the fight, going to be receiving aggro a lot of the time, and so double healing on him, not even the worst here. Also, just a small thing, but we can kind of, talk about positioning. The reason why Nasus is on the edge is just to allow him to wrap. We want to have a decent chance of somehow him walking up, the Leona walking up, blocking him out, and wrapping. And speaking of wrapping, I mean, no, Tiny but Deadly could be a pretty reasonable take here in this spot. It did get buffed up. It's solid attack speed onto your whole board. I don't think we want to take either of these. And yeah, he's going to take that TBD here. Tiny but Deadly got buffed up by 3 AS on the entire board here. That is a 10% buff onto the attack speed, which is not bad. And yeah, I mean, Teemo likes attack speed, Nasus likes attack speed, makes a lot of sense here as an augment pick. And you will see this Nasus here makes it to the back line. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Now that is a scary quirky, though honestly, with the healing, the Nasus is going crazy. That's 10,000 damage from him. I mean, I do think we have kind of made it there to not quite critical mass, but kind of pretty strong mass here. The Nasus is doing great work here. Going to fit 3 Space Groove in. By the way, thinking back to Space Groove buffs, obviously, way back in, early last patch, which pushed other versions of Space Groove over the line, obviously. 3 Space Groove got buffed up, so this is another, small buff to this comp that occurred last patch as well. So a lot of good stuff going for this line. Nasus with the double healing, doing a lot of work. I think we might have finally met our match, which is a board that has a Samira on it. Yep, we are going to lose to Cammy here playing that board. A little bit sad, but not the end of the world. Can't keep your streak forever here. I mean, the completed item has to be the pickup. Well, I would think it's the pickup here. The Giant Spell does give you items towards Leona, but the upside to the completed item is that as long as it's anything, really, tank item Leona, AD item Nasus, AP item Teemo, it should be good here. But he just wants the consistency of getting this set up here. Also, obstacle for the full reforge there. Wowza on the, I mean, it makes sense, right? Full reforge onto the Hodge, knowing that we already have good healing items onto Nasus here, or a good healing item. We have the BT onto him, so we don't really want to sit here with this Hodge that's not really going to do much here. And we do want to finish out a pretty strong build onto Nasus with this setup BT Guinsu Titans here. This is, like I was talking about, one of the default builds onto Nasus here. So we just end up reforging the Hodge. We end up eventually reforging into an LW, which is honestly not the worst. It's not a great item onto Teemo here, but does guarantee that we're going to have Armor Shred for the Nasus, which is something that we would be lacking otherwise. It's really hard to build a Last Whisper in this comp normally. Even Shroud normally what you would build, but it's actually actually pretty solid. It makes a lot of sense here. And Nasus going to go through this entire board. This is a pretty scary board here with the 3-star Rost on the front line. Nasus does have CC immunity, makes it to the back line. Bonk, bonk, bonk. 15,000 damage. I mean, this Nasus unit is just actually too much fun to watch. He actually, once he gets going, he starts doing insane work here. Don't think it's going to be the Kraken here, but look at this. Wow. I mean, quadruple belt here. The double Warmog is going to finish off for Leona. And in our ideal world, we probably would have had one resist item here, but items is items. Getting double Warmogs onto the Leona, I think, is going to be really big for us. And look at that aggro level here from Zaza, going to level 4, the 4-trait Rost here. Get the Armor Mar into the entire board. The attack speed, not very relevant considering we have Tiny but Deadly, but 8 RMR into our entire board is not insignificant. It's really nice, and the attack speed on top is really just gravy here. Also, Zaza doing this level because he's acknowledging something that I think is very smart to think about here, is that the board's going to fall off a cliff this stage. Stage 5, if you're ever playing around some kind of one-cost melee carry, this is where you do fall off. It's just going to be really hard for us to win fights at this stage, which is why it's so important to be this healthy, this strong, 75 HP. Perhaps is part of the reason why Zaza didn't want to, play super hard for the Evelyn one that you could have taken, the augment that would be minus 5 HP, because every 5 HP, every small bit of HP counts in playing for top 4 in spots like this. You can think of this similar to like the Pike reroll line, any of those kind of like lines where you're playing around this like melee carry who is very burstable, especially without an aggro drop, right? Nasus has no aggro drop. If he does receive aggro, he can just die. And so we want to be really careful about this next stage. Want to win every single fight that we can, be as strong as possible, because most boards are going to start outcapping us at this point. I will say he's coasted very nicely HP wise, 75 HP, and still in the top 4 here, which means that it's almost guaranteed that we're going to top 3, maybe even top 2 it with this amount of HP. I mean, Cammy, unless Cammy or this other player whose name is Numbers, what's the deal with European players and their names being numbers? 2-3, 3-2-2 is a player, and then Zaza is obviously 5-4-5-4. What is is that something in Europeans? I know in like Chinese, they have different like numbers that mean things. I guess everywhere has numbers that mean things, but like is this a big thing in European culture as well? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, pick up an anvil here, looking for our final Teemo item. Don't really find one. I guess you could take Adaptive. You could take Sterax. Low key isn't best here, Sterax, and then move double Guinsoo down to Teemo. I think I like that the best, especially because we do have the Tiny but Deadly here. But honestly, all good here. We can keep the Guinsoos onto the Nasus and, I mean, have a pretty good time here. Rotate into this big Gnar board here. This is, of course, a scary board here, but the Nasus, boom! 16,000 damage. Can we get a Nasus stacks here? Check Zaza, because, I mean, this guy is going absolutely crazy. I mean, low-key, this is not a comp that wins games, but is there ever a chance that we could win a game with Nasus here augment? If so, I think that would be the perfect example of how this comp has gotten a lot stronger with the buffs to it. This patch here, trying to get the quick swaps over, does get a pretty beautiful swap here. Nasus on the left side here, so he's not going to get focused, and Leona taking the main brunt of the sniper's damage, especially on the same side as the snipers, means that we're not going to get focus fired down by the snipers with sniper value. We're going to be able to get some kind of like anti-snipers value onto them. To be fair, we do get a little clear there. Their board looks quite strong, so hey, maybe top 1 is asking too much, but we still haven't reached our final form yet. Really want to get to level 9, reach that Blitzcrank, get that 6 Vanguard in. He does have this Shen that he picked up here, which is a very smart pick up for Zaza. Is just somebody that we could randomly throw onto this board here on the next level here. I'm gonna pick up another item here, looking to finish Teemo stuff out. You're gonna take Gunblade, which once again is really not exactly what we're looking for. I think we'd really just prefer a straight up damage item on him, a death cap, even like a JG or something. We don't end up getting it, but hey, Gunblade's a Gunblade. It can heal up our Nasus, heal up our Leona more importantly, and keep our board going. It's just our board is so low resist, right? We don't have much resist onto Leona, so the Gunblade feels bad. But what does feel good is this Nasus just an absolute dropping nukes on the backline here. 15,000 damage. This comp is so cool, actually. Cammy goes down here, which is really good, which means we don't actually have to level this round, but we're going to do it anyway, and we're going to find the Blitzcrank. We have since lost the Nunu that we picked up earlier, so Nunu come back. That is what we need here. I'm surprised he leveled this round because we know it's just us versus them, but I think he's thinking that the Shen upgrade on the board is still really nice here. Just getting the extra attack speed and HP onto almost our entire board is quite quite big. I will say, I think we do need one more big push to beat this guy. Really need to get to the 6 Vanguard to win out onto this board here. So we're going to roll down, try to pick up Mr. New here. Hopefully we can find it in time here. Also, could theoretically, I guess, I mean, there's actually not so much that you could drop here because, you know, I was thinking, we could drop out of the Mordekaiser here, get a better Vanguard in, but then you're dropping out a Dark Star, which is pretty low value in this comp because Nasus is going to overkill a lot, but Teemo is damage over time, and so the value into Teemo is pretty good. Also, oh my god, this fight's so close. If we were 6 Vanguard, I think we would have won this fight. Oh, it's actually just straight up crazy here. Really, really close. We do pick up GS, which is a great cap item here. Gonna continue the roll. We don't have that 6th Vanguard yet, which is really, really taunting us. It's so sad here. We do find the Nunu at the last second there, so we are going to be able to... Oh, interesting. Actually, opts did not play the 6th Vanguard here. So let's look at this board, actually. So theoretically, you could cut the Shen. It would be like Shen Nami out, right, for 6th Vanguard. You would lose out on Replicator, which is one trait for Rust, but not the end of the world. He says, nah, I actually, you know, kind of want to cut some of these other crummier units that I'm playing here. Just drops out of the Shen plus the other dude. Oh, actually, no, he does play 6 Vanguard, but he keeps Nami in for 4 Space Crew. Oh, interesting. Huh. That's an interesting way to go about it. So yeah, he plays 4 Space Crew. It's more stats for the Nasus. Lose out on the Rost is the big thing, but I guess his thought is that 4 trait Rost is not going to be the biggest thing in the world. All right, let's see what 6 Vanguard Nasus can do. I mean, our front line is way more stable. Nasus into the back line. Oh my god, I think if we were on the correct side, I think we actually could have won this fight. If we were left side here, Nasus would have made it to the back line faster here. Going to continue to roll down. He's saying, yeah, I mean, I can cut Nami at this point here. Thinking about cutting her for Shen, but is just going to say 4 Space Groove pretty good onto this board. So we're going to keep the setup here. Going to swap the Leon over last second, but not still going to swap the Nasus over. I think too afraid of him getting focus fired here. So we're going to keep him on the right side here. But our front line gets blown up. Nasus gets blown up. I think it's just going to be a very, very solid top 2 here. But still, I mean, a beautiful game from Zaza, showcasing the power of this hero augment and just how it can cap. I mean, a top 2 is still amazing for this. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch, my Metafy, and Teamfight takes. All my links towards that down below. Also, of course, we'll have Zaza's link down below as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.